Hello and welcome to the FSF PopCast Live Edition. I wish you would have kept going with that. That was fun.
Yep, it was. It's fun watching you dance just off the screen.
Right? When is this happening? It's happening now. We are live.
But what will now be then? Soon.
I feel like we're in a Spaceballs episode. All right. Anyway, welcome kids and cadets to the FSF PopCast Live at 5 review show. Today we're talking about the newest, the latest and greatest episode of Marvel Secret Invasion. Today is episode 4. Now, you, like us, may have tuned into episode 4 and saw that it only had a 37-minute runtime and thought, oh, man, because the last couple episodes have been in the 50s and they've been some seriously great episodes coming up, and you might have thought you were going to get shorted of those 15 to 17 minutes.
Nope.
But you were not.
Nope.
This was an action-packed 37 minutes.
It really was. There was no lag, no downtime.
Yeah. And, and the thing is, it's not even that there wasn't even any lag. I mean, they jump right into it. There was just like, here we go. So, speaking of that, before we start jumping into it, this is a reminder that there are spoilers for today's episode 4. If you haven't seen episode 4, now's your chance to maybe, we never want you to turn our show off and go watch something else, but maybe now is the time to turn our show off, go watch episode 4 and come back because, again, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about things that happened directly in today's episode. So this is your last chance. This is your spoiler. And 3, 2, 1, we start off with Gia being dead.
But not dead.
But yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
last episode I was like, man, they killed off a pretty major actor right away with, Emilia Clarke, only having some bits and pieces in some of the other episodes.
But then there were scenes in the trailer that had her in them that we hadn't seen those scenes yet. Scenes.
Seeing the scenes.
But when you're dealing with shapeshifters, is that really the person? So
right, exactly. Well, and I also thought, okay, maybe it's kind of like, what we saw a couple years back with Disney's release of Solo and Disney's release of Rogue One, where the trailer that we saw isn't, had scenes cut out of it, and that wasn't, So I thought maybe that could have been it. But I thought, man, kind of early for her to die. And then we start off with this really cool montage of her going in and getting supered up.
Right. She's a super scroll too.
Yeah. She does the glowy thing from Iron Man 3.
Extremis.
That's what it is. I couldn't remember it.
Okay.
And I don't want to say that I didn't care enough to go look it up.
Well, it was Iron Man 3. Come on.
And that was the other reason.
Which, it has an important place in the overall story, but
it does have some high points in it, but there's also a whole lot of so. But anyway, so not she's not the only one to have it. Obviously, Gravik has it. Mm-hmm. We saw that in last week's episode where he gets the slice and dice on his hands.
Yep.
And we see the hand reform and regrow, and
that was still a really weird scene. Why would you do? Special effects budget, I guess.
The pull, but the pull back of the hand instead of just pulling the knife out. I was like, that just seems like extra pain for no reason whatsoever.
He's a bit of an extremist, so
he is interesting.
Yeah.
So we see this fight, and then we see her talking with her father on a bench, and Talos, and everything's going on there. And yeah, this episode gets kind of interesting because of this next slide here. We see Fury's wife. And so the interesting thing is I wondered up until this episode, did Fury know she was a Skrull going into this?
Me too.
That answer is yes. Yes, he knew. He absolutely knew that she was a Skrull. And he was okay with that. Hey, it's Fury's life. Whatever floats your boat, you do it, buddy. So I thought it was kind of interesting that he knew that she was a Skrull, but went ahead, and joined with her anyway.
Yeah.
And, so they're sitting there and she's been given orders to kill him from the not real Rhodey.
Okay, have we seen this Rhodey change shape at all?
Yes.
We have.
Yeah, well, in this episode.
Okay. I watched it at 5 o'clock in the morning, so
Okay.
memory's
so later we see the Skrull that is Rhodey in the shower as a Skrull.
Oh, right.
Comes out and wipes the mirror and as Rhodey.
So
we know for sure. Okay. Yeah, we know for sure that Rhodey, the version of Rhodey that we're seeing so far in this, is Skrull.
Okay.
So now whether he's been Skrull the entire time or just when he met with Fury to fire him, I'm not entirely sure. But one of the things this season has been doing really well at is convincing us that yes, we absolutely positively cannot trust anybody.
Right. Except for maybe your wife. Maybe.
It's a strong maybe.
Well, I mean, she could have shot Fury, but she didn't.
Yeah. No, she had every opportunity to shoot Fury, and he had every opportunity to shoot her. I did like the line afterwards when they both realized that they both shot and intentionally missed. Clearly, they both intentionally missed.
Oh, yeah.
The line was, I don't know if this means we're getting divorced or if we should renew our vows. That made me laugh out loud.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So,
I got a feeling this is not going to end well for one, the other, or both, though.
I think it's not going to end well for her because the Skrulls are going to come after her now that he's alive.
Okay.
And they clearly know that he's alive. She was given an order to kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Or they were, as the Skrull Rhodey told her in the church, one of the two of you is catching a bullet. We don't care which one.
Yes. So
I think even he says they're going to come after you. So I think he knows that she's going to die by the end of this series. I have no doubts about that. His wife Vara will be dead.
Yeah,
absolutely. She's going to get killed by another Skrull because she wasn't faithful to Gravik and what everything that he's trying to accomplish. Right. So I'm pretty sure that that's how that's going to go down, based on what we're seeing so far.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. So then we see it go from that into a fight with, Rhodey's leading the president of the United States, who's there for a meeting with the Russians in England on neutral territory.
Mm-hmm.
Leading the president into the line of fire, directly into the line of fire.
Yeah.
And calling out which one the Citadel is in.
Mm-hmm.
They attack it. And that's where we get to see this scene from the trailer. I am Gravik. So,
now, I'm pretty sure from what I read today that the even in other countries, the president would have some air support.
Yeah,
helicopters can just, but
I didn't see a couple of unmarked helicopters carrying heavy weapons just getting into airspace, but that again would have not have been as much fun for the story.
Also, we have shape-shifting aliens who are gene spliced with living like tree people. So
I am Gravik.
My suspension of disbelief can bend. We're good.
Yeah. I mean, you pretty much have to set that belief aside or your disbelief aside because we're clearly jumping some factual lines here as to what's going to happen and how it's going to happen. So, but yeah, I thought that was a little odd myself, and I thought, well, I don't think a helicopter's getting anywhere near the airspace of where the president of any country is coming into.
Mm-hmm.
But I could be wrong.
Although a van that pops its roof open and has surface to air missiles, that was cool.
Oh yeah, the truck that was in the motorcade.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever seen that before on anything
outside of like action figures. No, I haven't.
Right. Yeah, back in the day. I mean, I think that was a Transformer that I played with back in the day. But
yeah,
still, all the same, I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." I didn't know they could make one of those.
Yeah.
So now it makes me wonder if it's on like they add something onto like the back because it was on a Ford truck. I don't think that's being made in the Detroit Rogue River truck line. like an
Maybe the
option.
base model, and then it gets modified somewhere else.
Right. Okay. So yeah, is it like an F-350, flatbed, and they just add on their military components on the back end?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, good on you, Ford. That was a pretty
Yeah.
cool looking vehicle. So, and Ford Motor Company, we are open for sponsorship just because we said
Yes.
you're cool.
Yes, indeed. We're not
So,
that far away. Just up the
no,
road.
other side of Michigan.
Yeah.
We drive Fords. I drive a Ford. Anyway, just saying.
Yeah.
My allegiance can be bought.
I currently have a Blazer, but I can change.
That's right. But then speaking of allegiance, of course, there's Talos working with Fury trying to save the president. Gravik has his man shoot him, and then Gravik stabs him, and we have what seems to be a dead Talos on the field. And even Fury thinks he's dead because Fury drives off with the president.
Which that means we have a dead Skrull in the middle of a bunch of Secret Service and military.
Yeah.
Who may not have been cleared to know about the existence of extraterrestrials.
Right. There's a whole lot of mind blowing that's going to go on there because the one guy who was going to shoot Talos in the first place was very unconvinced by Nick Fury as to who, Talos was, because he had already been shot in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And he was, half of his face.
Oh,
he was like, yeah, that was some cool work.
I mean, painful and tragic, but I mean, very well done effects wise.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, half his face is Talos, half his face is, Earth Talos, and yeah, very cool artwork. Ben Mendelsohn is doing a fabulous job as Talos. Great actor. So now I'm curious: is Talos actually dead, or is he just nearly mortally wounded?
Yeah, we just saw this trick last week, so I don't know.
Exactly.
Right.
I'm not sure what they're doing and why, but yeah, we'll get it figured out coming up in the next couple weeks.
And is the president okay?
I think he was just knocked out.
Okay.
I don't think that he was injured. The only injuries I think might have are some cuts and scrapes from being drug out across the glass out of the broken window.
I've been upside down in a car before. It is possible to walk away from that without much pain. Much.
We're going to talk after this is over. There's a story there I got to hear, John.
There is. But I don't know, because, I mean, we also know Harrison Ford is going to play Thunderbolt Ross.
Right.
Who becomes the president.
Right.
So does this start the chain of events for that? Or is it just like the next in-universe election cycle?
Right. Does Dylan McDermott's character just get assassinated at some point? And, and this is how it happens. Gravik's going after any heavy official that moves. So it would make sense to me if that's what happens in the next couple episodes. We see Gravik make another attempt on the president's life. It would make sense to me. So based on what we're seeing. And just one more note about today's episode, something I want to, and you said you had some theories about this, so I want to hear them.
Okay.
But I think that we have two different Furies in play. Because we have one Fury that looks like this, with the full beard and the glasses and not wearing the eye patch. And now some of this, I will agree that is more than likely we're looking at two different timelines, back when and the things of now. Right. But then we have a Fury that looks like this. Okay. And sometimes the Fury that looks like this. Now this is a still shot from the upcoming Marvels movie. So this is... Right. This is not set during this TV show, but this is the closest picture I could find that I could kind of help make my point. Right. But we're seeing Fury with the eye patch and the goatee, and then we're also seeing Fury with the full beard and the eyeglasses.
Right.
And the creepy eye.
Yeah.
So, I am curious to know what you're thinking.
I think at some point Fury gets killed.
You think so?
Yeah. And then since we conveniently have these shape-shifting individuals, somebody just steps in and fills that spot like they have everybody else. Might even be Gaia. Because then you would have a Skrull running sword. I mean, who better to watch space than an alien? Yeah.
Okay.
But, I mean, unless it's just one of those things where after these events, he decides, I look a little rough, and goes to a barber,
Right.
puts his eye patch back on.
Right. Let's clean it up and go back to the classic Fury look.
Yeah.
Hey, it's entirely possible that could make sense.
Right.
All right. I can get with that.
Unless that scene is set. No, wait, because that's Kamala's parents' house, right?
I believe so. Yes.
Yeah. So that would have to be in the current timeline, not before.
Yeah. So this is something that happens after.
Right. Now we'll be then soon. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Back to Spaceballs.
I haven't watched that in years. I don't know why it's coming up so much today.
You gotta love a memory when it decides to kick in.
Oh yeah.
So all right, well, cool. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens in a 37-minute time frame.
Yeah.
Episode 4 is a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this episode.
Yeah.
Something you wanted to add?
I'm just kind of curious where they're going to take it from here, because
I am as well. Because now I'm also interested in what Gia's thoughts are, because she, her dad had this pie in the sky idea of what could happen with the Skrulls and getting amnesty and all these different things. And she's like, yeah, that's not who I am. And then she turns around and walks away from her father. So I'm very curious about that and how that relationship, if there's a relationship, if Talos is not dead, what's going to happen from here?
I mean, if he's dead, all men are cremated equal. So
I am curious. I don't think they're going to kill him. Not yet, anyway.
No?
No, because I seem to believe that there was a picture of him for the Marvels movie. So I think he has to be there for that.
Okay. All right.
So I could be wrong, but I'm trying to do this from memory, and I don't think my memory is working as good as your quote from Spaceballs movie memory is working today. So
that's the only thing I can remember today. It's been a day.
I understood.
So, yeah.
All right, guys. Hey, just want to thank everybody for stopping by and giving a watch here and listening to us ramble on about Secret Invasion. We have really been enjoying the show. We're hoping you guys are too. And don't forget that you can find us, of course, here on YouTube. Click like and subscribe if you're watching here, please. It helps us to continue to grow and get amazing guests each and every week for you guys to be able to listen to. We, of course, have a Patreon channel where you get some awesome blooper reels. You get some cool behind the scenes stuff, and there's all kinds of early access to every week's episodes. A whole lot of cool stuff there. So yeah, check us out on Patreon as well. There's links down in the show notes down below. And also just want to remind you guys that we are creeping up on number 850 for our YouTube channel. That means that somebody's going to win this little fella here. So if you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, you can win Crosshair from the Bad Batch and a Funko Pop, and we'll ship it to you free of charge as a thank you for being one of our YouTube subscribers. So please do that. We're getting close. I think we're only about 11 away right now.
Right. And Tim does not let go of his Funko Pops lightly. I mean, look behind him.
Ta-da!
Once he has them, they stay. So this is kind of a big deal.
And brand new in the box. He's never breathed open air. So anyway, that sounded a lot worse than what I intended it to. So there's that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. John, thank you for your help today and keeping me on track. And guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, goodbye.
Bye.
On behalf of the rest of the hosts of the FSF PopCast, we want to thank you for listening to this episode. If you'd like to be a guest on a future episode, please contact us by means of Twitter or Instagram using the handle @FSF PopCast, or go to www.fsfpopcast.com and click on the contact link. Thanks again.